Hello, my name is John Kirbow. I recently authored something called Letters to Donald Trump from a War Veteran. I served in Iraq and Afghanistan. I was with the Special Operations community and predominantly in psychological warfare and the Human Terrain System program. And my background was understanding counterinsurgency, language, culture, and how to work with the local population to defeat extremism, at least create conditions in which we could, by working with the wider U.S. military and working with the Iraqi and Afghan populace, to create conditions in which we can defeat extremism. That's the idea. We were not always successful in these war zones, but the doctrine behind counterinsurgency and behind counter-extremism, at its very core, is about building a rapport and a trust with local populations, with leaders, with influencers, with people you can work alongside, be it a village or a community or religious leaders, with mosques, with businesses, basically understanding how to connect and develop and build relationships. And through that, you can work alongside the human terrain, and you can work alongside the human landscape to effectively build a bottom-up solution. That is the only way you can defeat extremism. And I talk about this regarding Donald Trump's absolutely dangerously ignorant and uninformed idea of what counter-extremism means and what it means to try to fight a war on terror. Without the support of the local population, we cannot win. And there's certain measures and mindsets that he comes at us with when he talks about banning all Muslims, even temporarily, or he talks about certain Orwellian measures that would only increase the scope of government and give us a sense of security, but in the long run would probably make us less safe. It would diminish our ability to build relationships in many Muslim communities. It would make it more difficult to build the kind of relationships we need to fight and win, not just the war on the ground, not just working with communities in America as well as in Europe within Muslim neighborhoods to try to essentially be a Muslim-owned solution, to start policing themselves, to start turning against the extremists within their own communities, but also to help empower the liberal Muslims, the ones who support a kind of pluralistic version of Islam that allows for tolerance, freedom, and democratic movements to coexist with a Muslim identity. And this form of Islam is being increasingly promoted, and to win this war of ideas, we have to empower these kinds of counter-narratives through robust information campaigns from every direction. That is something I've done for a long time, and that is something we need to continue to do. And Donald Trump's approach to this, and the mindset of millions of Americans who follow this mindset, while well-intended by many, is patently dangerous and antithetical to the very spirit of how counterinsurgency works and how counter-extremism works. And my website's called Reason Revival, www.reasonrevival.net. Go to medium.com, look for Letters to Donald Trump from a War Veteran. And my name is John Kirbow. Please at least read these. It's 2 days before the election. I'm not endorsing Hillary. I'm not saying, do or don't vote for anybody. But this, I just want to convey this because it's extremely important to the future of how we defeat insurgency. And I live in New York City. I'm proud to live here. And I can tell you from being good friends with many people, both Muslims and ex-Muslims from all over the world, from Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Egypt, Iraq, from North Africa, some of the best allies in this war are Muslims and former Muslims and people that are secularists living these parts of the world that are now trying to build bridges with the West and bridges with Muslims all over the world to fight for a pluralistic, tolerant version of Islam that can root out extremism. And building relationships in the neighborhoods in places like Molenbeek, in places like London, Paris, and even within our own country here at home in America. The ability to build trust and work alongside the communities and have a bottom-up Muslim-owned solution to extremism is absolutely essential. That doesn't mean we don't have to vet people coming in this country. It doesn't mean we don't have to sometimes kick down doors. It doesn't mean we don't always have to shoot people. It certainly doesn't mean that there aren't legitimate people out there that we have to kill. And there are certainly measures we have to take that do involve the use of kinetic and lethal action. I'm not rooting that out. What I'm saying is in the long war, it's the non-lethal weapon working alongside the human terrain that we absolutely have to empower and what we have to try to communicate to more Americans. So I encourage veterans of special warfare, of special operations, Green Berets, PSYOP, civil affairs, people who've done counterinsurgency across these different war zones, please come out and speak out about this. And let's build a solidarity between veterans and Muslims to try to defeat extremism and convey this to more Americans. Thank you.